I think everyone's already seen that so-called teaser with Jax on it, and right now it's raising a ton of questions from Digital Circus fans, because the original source of this teaser still ain't known. Some folks claim it's an official teaser from Gooseworx that she accidentally posted and deleted right away, while others are convinced it's a fake, and the show's creators got nothing to do with this image. Let's try to figure out what this teaser actually means, and if it can even be trusted. First off, the fact that there's no official confirmation or even screenshots showing it came from Gooseworx's page already gives us a reason to doubt the authenticity of this teaser. And another tiny detail also points to it being fake. I ain't even talking about the tail that showed up on Jax in episode 6 after that one scene in episode 5, which already looked kinda weird. But if you pay attention to Jax's pants, you can see at the very bottom they look way different from what we normally see in the Digital Circus. Since Jax is just a 3D model that's been made a while ago, it's unlikely the creators would bother changing such a small detail like the lower part of the pants. So taking all this into account, along with what I said earlier, we can confidently say this teaser is just a pretty solid fake. Yeah, and even if that really was a 100% official teaser, it doesn't carry much meaning anyway, and probably wouldn't help us out at all. Lately, we've gone through pretty much every character and the updates tied to him, but like always, we keep forgetting about one of the most important, and at the same time, one of the most overlooked characters, Caine. With every new episode, this dude just gets more and more insane, and if we take into account one very interesting detail from episode 6 that we're also going to talk about right now, it's going to be crazy interesting to figure out what's going to happen with Caine in episode 7, and how that's going to shape the future of the whole Digital Circus universe. I got a couple mind-blowing theories lined up for y'all about what all this really means and how it's going to hit our administrator in the next episode, and trust me, it's going to be pure madness. So the first theory is that this snapshot is basically the entrance to the Digital Circus. Most likely Caine just can't wrap his head around why people were so hyped to figure out what this thing really was and jumped into the game without a second thought, while his adventures don't spark that kind of curiosity at all. But let's be real, that theory's kind of boring and way too simple for the Digital Circus. I feel like it's way more complicated and twisted than that, and if you notice with every new episode, the creators keep pushing us harder toward the idea that this weird symbol is one of the biggest mysteries of the whole circus, and cracking it will spill a ton more truth about this place. And yeah, lately we've been seeing the full abbreviation of that symbol pop up more and more, but honestly, that's just a fun detail, because most of us pieced that together right after the pilot anyway. Taking all that into account, and the fact that we never heard about an exit, again, after the pilot, I'd say it's pretty safe to assume this room is actually the way out of the Digital Circus. But why'd they decide to show it to us right now? Well, the truth is, it's all 'cause of Caine, who's slowly shifting from a cheerful admin into a programmed AI that's glitching harder and harder with every episode.
Alrighty. Now, let's see how many of them voted for me.
We all get that this is happening because Caine just can't deal with the reality that his so-called masterpiece adventures don't really interest anyone. And if we go back to that scene with Zooble, it's super easy to catch why that triggered such a strong reaction from Caine. Basically, the Digital Circus is a place where the characters are only supposed to have fun and not think about any real human stuff. But with that line, Zooble literally went against the rules of the circus. And that kind of behavior is bound to mess with the programmed AI system, which is why we've been seeing so much aggression and glitches lately. There's a good chance Caine's just straight up tired of all this, and when he's looking at that photo, you can tell the thoughts hitting him to just end it all and send everyone back to the real world, so he won't be stuck alone with them anymore. Like we remember episode 6 was the breaking point between the calm in the Digital Circus and the straight up madness, and C&A, including that room, are going to be a key part of everything that happens next. What do y'all think this room really means? Drop your guesses in the comments, and let's keep it rolling. Like I already said, this spot is for sure going to play a big role in the future, but I'm pretty sure episode 7's only going to be the start of uncovering the main mystery of the Digital Circus. For the longest time, we thought the letter A in C&A stood for Albert Spudsey, and that he was supposedly one of the founders of the circus. But episode 6 dropped some details that could totally flip the way we see everything. Let's rewind to one insanely important scene for us. Of course, a lot of people instantly started throwing around the idea that Kinger might actually be one of the creators of the Digital Circus, because he's got some abilities that nobody else seems to have. Backing up that theory is the fact that this scene comes literally right after the one with Caine. So I can toss out a pretty bold theory that Kinger's actually Albert Spudsey, and all those mentions back in episode 4 were kind of like a hidden nod to it. But if we think back to the Kinger we're used to,
we all got briefs on our characters. I'm your assistant.
Is that a baby head? lamp?
Didn't you get one too? I figured we were all on the same page here. But if not, you're gonna have to tap into those golden improv skills. Don't worry, Gangle, I'll get it for you!
Like from the very first second, it really feels like he's completely nuts and can't control the way he acts. But if you look at it from another angle, that kind of behavior actually gives Kinger a bunch of advantages, because he's basically a shadow in the digital circus, since nobody ever takes him seriously, and he can watch everybody else while staying invisible himself. I was also really intrigued by that scene where it seems like Kinger purposely dragged Pomni along to get a better read on who she is and what kind of feelings she's getting from the digital circus. Plus, at times we see Kinger as pretty wise and level-headed too.
Before I know it, she'll be a different person. One who doesn't even want me around.
The way I see it, relationships are two-sided, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to do all the heavy lifting when the other isn't in the mood. We all go through and deal with things differently, and sometimes you just need to let people do things their own way, as long as you're still there when they need you. Giving someone space should never be the same as giving up on them.
And then, there's that scene with Pomni from episode 3. Taking all this into account, you can really start to safely assume, and even be pretty sure, that Kinger is Albert Spudsy, and therefore one of the creators of the digital circus. And these hints from Glitch and Goose just keep pushing us to think that's the case. That's especially intriguing because I'm 100% sure that room wasn't shown to us for no reason. And even if it really is the exit from the digital circus, things might not be as rosy as they seem at first glance. If we go back to episode 5 and remember a few things from there.
I sometimes got bored of things, and I would seek out mild thrills, like exploring abandoned buildings, and posting videos of it online.
Ah, a YouTuber.
Not really. Nobody watched them.
I sometimes did that. I wouldn't record it, though. Here's your Cosmo.
Thanks. My mother was a lot. I worked in real estate for a bit until I ended up here.
A couple months back, we noticed that pretty much everyone who told their story somehow mentioned abandoned buildings. So it's totally possible that the office transferring real people's minds into the digital circus is inside one of those places. Judging by how this room looks now compared to how it did originally, you can easily say that even if this really is the exit from the digital circus, it's been dead for a long time already. And in that case, it's actually super interesting whether our favorite characters can even make it back to the real world in one piece. Can they even come back at all? Because it's pretty likely their bodies in the real world ain't breathing anymore. And the digital circus is like this kind of digital immortality, letting people live out an endless imitation of life in a place where basically nothing matters. So you get it. Episode 7's gonna be even more epic than anything we've seen before, because that's exactly where the craziest stuff is about to kick off. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch y'all real soon in the next videos.